Welcome, fellow bookworms, to Tibra's Den. My name is Whitney, and today we have my first weekly wrap up. It's more like a 2-week wrap up because I did last week just do my December wrap up. So it's kind of what I've been reading these last 2 weeks. But this is going to be kind of the new format going forward. Every Monday, I'm just going to talk about what's been going on, what I read, and things like that. And then any other videos I do will just be bonus videos that come out on Friday. So that's kind of the new setup for 2026. This first stack of books that I'm going to talk about, I'm actually doing a reading vlog for. And so that will come out. I talk in depth about these books there. So this one, you're not going to get a lot of information on the books. I'm just going to give you a brief summary and kind of my star rating on it. But if you want like an in-depth, definitely make sure you're subscribed and have that bell clicked so that way you're notified when the reading vlog video comes out in maybe this week, but probably not till next week. I'll just have to see how it goes. But the first book I started and finished in 2026 was actually Dean Koontz' Life Expectancy. So this was for my TBR game. I needed to have a librarian or employee pick a mystery, thriller, or horror, and I needed to update my library card, and so I went and I asked, and they said Dean Koontz, and I was like, okay, well, what's your favorite Dean Koontz? And they said Life Expectancy. And it's funny, my sister had given me a bunch of Dean Koontz books, and then recently I went, well, not recently, like in the last year or two, I went through them and read the synopsis, and if I found it interesting, I kept it, and the ones I didn't, I unhauled. And this was one of the ones I unhauled. I ended up really enjoying this. You're following Jimmy Talk, and on the night of his birth, his grandpa is dying, and he does 10 prophecies, 5 regarding his actual birth, like how much he would weigh, his length, things like that. And then he prophesizes 5 dates that will be really bad days in Jimmy Talk's life. And so you're following those 5 dates. And yeah, I really ended up enjoying this. I ended up giving it 4 stars. So there's that one. A pleasant surprise. I'm not going to rehaul it since I did end up getting rid of it. I didn't enjoy it that much that I would rehaul it, but it was a good time while I was reading it. The second book I read and finished in the first part of the year, the first 2 weeks, was Morbidly Yours by Ivy Fairbanks. This one was 5 stars. I absolutely love it. You're following Lark, who is from Texas, and she's working on this project in Ireland, and she ends up moving across the way from Callum, who has a mortuary. He's a mortician. And so she recently lost her husband, and she blames herself for that. And so at first she's like freaked out that she's across, from this guy. And then they strike up a friendship. He needs to get married in order to inherit the business. And so she's trying to help him find the one, and helping him go out, date, and such, which I love that trope. I absolutely love it. And it deals a lot with grief and kind of forgiveness. And yeah, absolutely love that. So that was definitely 5 stars for me. I'm 100 pages away from finishing The Life Impossible by Matt Haig. This one, so I read 4 other Matt Haig books, which I mentioned in the vlog I'm doing, and they haven't quite hit for me. This one's definitely hitting. You're following Grace. She's like 72, and an old colleague that she didn't really know, and it was decades ago, ends up giving her this house in Spain. And so she recently lost her husband. She's also dealing with grief and guilt because she lost her 11-year-old son, again, decades ago. And so she's decided, you know what, like, what am I doing here? I'm going to go ahead and go. And so she goes, and there's kind of this mystery behind how her friend disappeared. So it's a lot about like life and the meaning of life and forgiveness as a sci-fi element, but it's more like kind of like magical realism, only make it sci-fi, because it's just like it's contemporary and there's just that touch of that sci-fi element. Um, and so it's really like an existential conversation, but there is that mystery element around what happened to her friend and who was after her friend. And so, yeah, I only have 100 pages left. I'm hoping to finish this today. I'm really enjoying it. So there's that one. My husband and I have started The Seven Rings by Nora Robert. This is the third book in the Lost Bride trilogy. We're 80 pages in right now, and such a disappointment. I've noticed this is my favorite author, okay? And her writing has gone downhill. Like, she needs to either, I mean, I don't want her to retire, but the quality she's putting out is not good. This could have been one book. So the way it works, she does romantic suspense in May that she releases. And then in November, she releases a book that's normally part of a series, normally a trilogy. And so this is the last book. And so it's been 3 years of us reading this, and it's just nothing is happening. The first book, it was a lot of the setup. And so I ended up giving the first book 5 stars because even though it was slow, to the beginning, it was a lot of the setup. It was progressing, like setting her up where she needed to be. And then the ending was just like, wow, like it's going to get really good. Animals are playing. So then book 2, nothing happened. The romance didn't progress and the story didn't progress. And book 3, nothing's still happening. It was very repetitive. Like, I get, like, you need to kind of refresh people's memory, but she basically told you everything that happened in the previous book. So I'm like, yeah, the premise of this one, you have Sonia, I believe, and she didn't know, her dad didn't know, her dad had a twin brother who recently passed away. And this twin brother ended up leaving her this house. Her fiance cheated on her with her cousin. And so she's like, fresh start. And they work together. And so she's just like, fresh start. I'm going. And so she inherits this house. And the house is inhabited by a bunch of ghosts. And one of which is a very malicious spirit who has killed the 7 brides of this manor and taken their rings. And so that's kind of what they're having to figure out, like how to get rid of her, what happened, where are these rings, what happened to them, and how can we get rid of this evil spirit, essentially. But nothing is happening. And my husband, we're gonna read it, like we're gonna try to push through this week, read it every night, and see if we can just finish it up so we can get back to Dungeon Crawler Carl, because this is not it. And I'm so frustrated because it's like, she's a good writer, I love her stories, but it could have been one book. And it's just like, she's stretching it out just because this is what she does. She always does a trilogy in November, when this could have been one book, and so it's really, really frustrating. And hopefully it will get better because, like, nothing has happened in the other book, so everything has to happen in this book. So, it's like 400 pages, and so hopefully it will start to take off. But right now, still nothing's happening. It's very boring, and I'm very, very disappointed. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes, but that's what I'm working on right now. And then my plan this week is to read Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. This is another one for that reading vlog, and it's from the library. I need to get it back, so this one will definitely be read this week because I need to get it back. I only have a week left with this. So I'm planning on reading this week. And also my family book club pick, The Collective by Alison, Gaylin. I'm planning on reading this week. And so these are the 4 books that are kind of, sorry. These are the 4 books that I am prioritizing for this week. And I'm hoping to get at least one other book read, but I don't know what that will be. It just kind of depends on when I finish these, and how I'm feeling, but I at least want to get one other book in here as well. But these are the 4 priorities. So yeah, that's how my first 2 weeks have gone. I've only finished 2 books, almost done with one other, and started another. But like this past week, the beginning of the month, I always work on my reading journal and such, so I'm not really reading as much because I'm focused on that, my reading journal, and getting it all set up and whatnot. And then this past week, I've just been really stressed because I had to take the animals to the vet last Tuesday. I had my dentist appointment Wednesday, and then I have to take my other cat back for her rabies. The boys just needed their rabies vaccines as well. And now Fraulein needs hers, so I have to take her tomorrow. And it just really stresses me out having to take them to the vet. Last week was not a good visit. Like it just, I mean, they were fine. Like it was just standard, but Marley doesn't like leaving the house. Like he's a very scaredy dog, and he ended up making a mess all over the concrete, of course, instead of in the dirt where it would be easier to clean. All over the concrete. Of course, somebody arrived just at that moment, so they're having to like get past his mess and the cat carrier. And then the front desk ladies, like they are not it. They ended up so I just wanted rabies. I worked in the vet clinic for almost a decade, and so I just wanted the rabies vaccine. The cats, like, they don't need their other vaccines. They're indoor cats. They don't. We're out in the middle of nowhere, so there's not like cats like coming up to the window or anything like that. Barley is going to be 11 this year, and so after a certain point, I don't give the parvo distemper vaccines anymore. I just give the rabies. And so I was just like rabies, and Barley got some blood work just to make sure everything was good. He's been on and off his feed, and he is older. And so I was like, just the 3-year rabies and that. And when I went and made the appointment, they misquoted me. So you have an exam fee and then the price of the rabies. They quoted me just the exam fee. And it's been 7 years since I've been in the vet clinic, so I don't remember the prices. And I was like, okay. And so yeah, it was $30 more for each animal than what they quoted me. So that kind of made me mad. Then they wrote down parvo distemper, which I never said, they never asked. They wrote it down. And so the girls in the back, like, that's the front desk. Like, they just, okay, this is what we're getting. So she didn't verify. She verified that I didn't want um the the upper respiratory for the cats because it wasn't written down, but Barley was written down. So she just assumed, okay, like, that's what we're doing. And yes, and then they charged me for it, which that was your mistake. And so it just was really and they're just not welcoming. Like, they're very grumpy. Like, they don't want to be there. You can tell, which I worked in that specific vet clinic. I understand, but like, come on, like, where's your customer service? And the mistakes, like, that really made me upset. So I get stressed anyway, and then having that bad time, like, I'm been really stressed out. So today I'm planning. I already did my chores, so that's nice. I knocked out my chores. I just have laundry left for today. I have some other chores I need to do, but I'm not doing them today. I'll do them later in the week. And I just have laundry left to do. So, and it's just like the sheets and making the bed and such. So nothing like major or anything like that. So yeah, I'm gonna get this video up, and then I'm gonna tuck in and read and take little breaks to do the laundry, but and try to just not stress about tomorrow. And then once Fradley's done, I think I'm good for a little while. I won't have to go back, but it's just so frustrating. So it's been like a week where I've just been kind of stressed. So like this weekend, I didn't read a whole lot. I played World of Warcraft with my husband. We're trying to get all our characters up to 40, and so we have 2 left. We have a bunch of characters because my husband wants me to try like all the races and then all the classes. And so we have a ton of characters, so that way I can get a good taste of all the different things. I like mage. I prefer mage. I have a bunch of mages just because I like it. And so yeah, we played that. We have 2 more left that we need to get up to 40, and then we're going to create 2 more because the monk, so like each like class has like 3 different options. You could basically be tank where you're taking all the damage. You could just give the damage. and then you also, like, some of them have like a healer type, or different types depending. Like, not all of them have healers, so it's just that some other random type. And so with monk, I actually want to try all 3 types, and I only have one right now. And that was the class that came out with the most recent expansion. So I'm planning on making 2 more so I can try out those types as well. They may or may not be pandas. I'm leaning towards making it 2 more pandas because I think the pandas are cute. And so yeah, so we'll have 4. We need to get up to 40 if we create those 2, but we're gonna get the last 2 up and then decide. And then his brother likes to play like the classic, and the Burning Crusade is coming out, and that's when I believe the Blood Elves were introduced. And so we're gonna make characters to play with them again, because we used to play with them all the time, his brother and his brother's girl. So we're gonna make characters to do that. So I'm gonna be playing a lot of WoW. But this year I did want to take it a little bit more easy as far as reading, and make sure I'm spending time doing other things as well. So yeah, we're just gonna kind of see how this week plays out. I might play World of Warcraft a few nights this week. Definitely this weekend I'll be playing. I gotta take Fratelline in tomorrow, but not till the afternoon, late afternoon. So I'm just gonna kind of see how it goes. But I will be back next week to let you guys know how I did on these 4 books, if I got anything else read or started, and what I'm looking forward to coming up. So I will see you guys next Monday. Happy reading, everyone. Bye.